I'm Erik Linask. Welcome to this edition of TMC Newsroom. I'm here at the Cloud Expo at the Javits Center in New York, and I'm chatting now with Marty Gauvin from Virtual Ark. Marty, thanks for joining me.
Morning, Erik.
Start off, how's the show been for you?
Look, really it's been a fantastic opportunity for us to launch our company and really come out of stealth mode. We've been operating now for about eight or nine months, and this is really our chance to pull off the covers and show the world what we're about.
Great, so a great place to start. Tell us what Virtual Ark is all about.
What we're about is shifting the, managed services market forward, the managed services capability for enterprises forward as cloud infrastructure lets the model progress through SaaS and into the outsourcing model. What we see this means is that you can produce third generation outsourcing. This means no more locked in term, no more infrastructure, and really the flexibility to pay for what you use and scale up and down as you see fit, not just in the infrastructure but in the services.
So you touched on two separate areas that are really growing these days. Obviously cloud, which is what we're all here to talk about, but also managed services. What is the relationship between cloud and managed services?
Well, what it means for us is that everything that the customer has previously had to be locked in on, effectively this has been the problem, this has been the ugly part of the outsourcing model, is you kill your flexibility. You're stuck with the same service levels, you're stuck with the same infrastructure, capability, cost basis throughout the entire term. So that ability to scale up and down is the first thing that the cloud means. The next thing that the cloud means is it gives you great flexibility around things like geographic coverage. Customers, the ISVs that we're talking to, come to us and they get two big benefits straight away when we cloud enable their applications. They can scale up and down, so they can go into new markets, and they can also move to different geographies. So if you have been operating out of a data center based here in North America, suddenly customers in Europe, customers in South America, wherever you like, become accessible to you.
So it seems really one of the things that the cloud is enabling is, like say, that really huge geographic expansion and accessibility and potential reach in terms of a new customer audience.
Absolutely right. And the other class of customer that this introduces is the non-outsourced customer. We've come from a managed services background. We ran a high-end outsourcer business called Hostworks for 12 years, and we were able to quickly identify that businesses fell into two categories. They either outsourced or they didn't. With the cloud, because there's increased flexibility, the ability to move away from contract terms and locked in service levels and so forth, it really does provide the opportunity for managed services providers to look to those customers who've not previously outsourced as well.
How big of a question or concern especially on the part of those who haven't historically followed the outsourcing model, how big of a concern is security for them?
It's always the first question. It's always number one. And one of the things that we've said about is designing our model around security coming first. What I guess we found, and this is really crucial, is that security on the cloud isn't bad. It's just different. And so people need to understand that they need to rethink a lot of their ideas about security. And that's true of any cloud deployment. What we have is our watertight security philosophy around the Virtual Ark deployments in the cloud, which has a number of steps which take into account all of those areas that you would normally consider.
But isn't there a stigma attached to allowing somebody else control your security as opposed to making you've got your own control over it?
Well, this is the interesting thing. There's really no need to give up control, because you can use all sorts of things such as VPNs, virtual private networks, encryption, firewalls. All of these things can be set up in the cloud. And this is how we do our deployments, is we construct all of those things that you would normally use in a virtual sense. So you end up with virtual appliances doing all of those jobs. And that really means that no one else has the control. No one else has the ability to look at your data. There's no leakage in or out from this business.
Attention, please.
What are is there a particular industry segment or vertical that you are seeing become more interested in hosting in the cloud?
That's absolutely our focus. Is we see that by working with vertical markets, we can progress this most effectively. What we're seeing certainly is probably much faster than we expected is public sector, healthcare and education, and that cluster there. Also logistics, and also obviously media. They certainly are the key verticals we're seeing emerging.
Why are those particular verticals emerging?
I think that one of the main reasons is that they have seen, on the one hand, cost pressures, but on the other hand, service delivery pressures. This is a lot about time to market. And in some of the deployments we've done so far, we've found order of magnitude improvements in time to market. One airline customer was sought to be able to enter new markets in a fortnight, move to new cities. And they thought that 2-week period was actually going to be constrained by IT. Everything else they could sort out quicker than that. We got that 14 days down to a day and a half.
Wow. And you mentioned time to market. There's no question time to market and cost are really two of the driving factors these days. I want to touch on one more thing before we wrap up. You mentioned to me earlier how simple it can be, the cloud can be to use. And that's something that you guys do, a rule that you guys follow on your own. Tell me a little bit about your own folks.
Absolutely. We strongly believe in eating our own dog food. When people start in Virtual Ark, you receive a backpack. This backpack contains everything in it that you need to be able to do your job, but more importantly, it contains everything in it to make where you are sitting our head office. You can answer the phone, you can respond to email, you can access every application that we deploy, every application we use in the operation of our business through the cloud. And so that's pretty fundamental to us.
Great. Thanks, Marty. We've been talking here at Cloud Expo with Virtual Ark's Marty Gauvin. Marty, thanks.
Thanks, Erik.